Hey, everybody, and welcome to day 15. We have made it to the halfway mark. We are at a threshold, and I hope the lessons, the sessions that I've shared with you on discovering your purpose, developing your purpose, and these potential predators have been so impactful to your life that you are learning a new normal, that you are applying these teachings, and that they are making a huge impact and influence upon your life. And I am your host, Jody Almond, and I am glad to be with you here with you again this evening. And we've been doing this now for 15 days. Time flies, doesn't it? And especially when you're learning and growing and having fun. And so that's what I believe. I believe when you find your purpose, when you find your true calling in life, it's not even work anymore. It's fun. You get to enjoy what you do every day, all day, the rest of your life. And isn't that what we all want? I think that's why God created us. And I am a faith based person, so these are faith based teachings. So just that disclaimer at the beginning, but I do not cram it down your throat. I want you to decide for yourself what you believe. And I hope that you can find a belief system like mine because I have found it to be very successful in my life. Now, real quickly, let's jump in because I don't want to waste time tonight. I've got a great lesson to teach you, and I know yesterday was just phenomenal. Really, it's a great teaching yesterday because if you didn't get that one, success is going to really be impossible for longevity in your life because that one's a key, a very huge key. But this one is today as well. Really, all of them are, but there's some keys that are for bigger locks, more complex locks than others, right? And so let's jump into it and let's get started. And I will tell you, I've done things just a little bit different tonight as we get started. Again, this is 30 days of how to be successful with me, Jody Almond, your guide to your 30 days of success. And so as we jump in, I want to begin talking to you because, again, I've done something just a little bit different tonight in not giving you all the points in one slide. I'm going to be breaking them up. So if you're normally used to that, just realize tonight we will be doing each point in a consecutive order and they will all be in separate slides. But this is discussing potential predators with you, and I want to begin talking to you about some of these potential predators. Now, how many of you remember when you were a kid and you would see something on TV, or maybe there was somebody who came in and you were a shy child or whatever, but you would put things around you to barricade you, to make you feel safe, to make you feel secure. And it was like you had nestled yourself back into a hole in the couch, or as this child is in the couch with the pillows around you. And it's like, haha, you can't see me. Well, here's the catch. The reason I share that today is because of a truth that we all deal with. And that truth is, and this is the potential predator I want to deal with tonight, and that truth is fear, right? Fear. And there are three major fears I'm going to deal with you tonight. Then I'm going to give you the solution or the prescription on how to conquer your fear and what you need to do and I need to apply in place of fear so that you can be successful. And so when we talk about this, I want to talk to you because Babe Ruth, the famous baseball player from years gone by, this is what he was quoted as saying. It's hard to beat a person who never gives up. Every strike brings me closer to the next home run. Never allow the fear of striking out to keep you from playing the game. Isn't that an awesome statement? Now, you're talking about a guy who I did not realize this, but he's in the top 150 people of all time to ever play baseball in strikeouts. But yet he's considered one of the huge home run champions of baseball. Now, here's what I want to share with you. I heard just recently a story from John Maxwell, who was sharing a story about this type of thing and how we need to go up to bat. And John says that his nephew was a little league player, and he went to see his nephew play in a game, and him and his wife was there, and he said, he goes through this storyline and makes it very humorous about how that people just don't act right at a little league game, and you had the parents acting crazy, you had the coaches and the umpires acting crazy, and he said he's just thinking, man, let the kids enjoy the game. But anyway, he watches his nephew go up to bat, and he never swings at the ball. Strike one, no swing. Strike 2, no swing. Strike 3, no swing. You're out. He goes back to the dugout. So John walks over to the dugout and he calls his nephew to him and he says, hey man, let me tell you something. He says, let me encourage you. Why didn't you swing at the ball? And he said, I don't know. And he said, well, listen, he said, if you do not swing, you can't hit it. Don't worry about if you miss the ball. But if you never take a swing, you'll never have an opportunity to hit the ball. So sure enough, it's his turn to come up to bat again, and he gets up to the batting plate, and he's standing there in position, and John's like, now swing, baby, swing. Come on, son, swing. And the coach is looking at him like, what are you talking about? And so anyway, here it comes, and here comes the ball, and he swings and he misses. John's like, that is the best swing I've ever saw. Keep swinging, son. You could have hit that ball. Keep swinging. So he looks over his shoulder at John, and he's like, wow, that felt kind of good. And so he grabs it again, and the ball comes, and he swings and he misses, and he says, oh, way to go. You're in the game now. Keep swinging. And the coach is looking at him like, you are crazy. You've lost your mind. That pitcher takes that ball and goes for the third pitch. When the ball comes barreling, remember this is Little League, I'm trying to be funny. When the ball comes to the home plate, his nephew swings. And when he swings, crack! Now here's the catch about baseball, as John tells it. You don't have to hit the ball over the fence. You just have to hit the ball. Now his nephew wasn't expecting to hit the ball. The coach wasn't expecting him to hit the ball. And John wasn't sure he was going to hit the ball, but he knew if he didn't swing, he would never hit the ball at all. And when he heard that crack, he jumped out of his bleachers. He ran down on the field to the first base, and he said, come on, run, 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 while the players were running after the ball. And he runs to the first plate. He runs to the second plate. John is cheering him on. He runs to the third plate. And he runs and slides into home base. Now, I'll tell you that story because here's the catch. His nephew had such a fear of swinging, that he wouldn't swing. And that's called a fear of failure. And so many of us, my friend, so many of us deal with the fear of failure. So many of us are worried about the fear of failure. What will people think if I try and I do not succeed? What will people say if I fail? What will they say about me? Can I tell you something? If you're ever going to be successful in life at anything, it will be paved with bricks of failure. You will always fail before you succeed. You will always fall down on the road to success. The question is, will you overcome your fear of failure and get up and keep going forward? Now, I'll be honest with you. This is huge to me. This is huge to me, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to be completely transparent because I understand the role of a struggler and the role of a settler and the role of a successful person and now the role of a significant person. And let me tell you why. Because in the beginning and many years in my life, even now I battle it with this idea of the fear of failure. It's one of my largest enemies, one of my largest predators that I personally face is the fear of failure. But I have learned along the way, whether I fear failure or I don't feel failure, failures are still most likely going to happen in my life. Here's the key. If I never swing, if I never step out in faith, if I never try, I'll never know. Here's a faith lesson for you from the Word. Again, this is a faith-based teaching. Jesus comes walking on the water to the disciples on a boat. They're afraid. Their fear is the fear of the unknown at first, but now their fear is Jesus tells Peter, come to me. Now, he doesn't say, Peter, come to me. He says, come to me. Now, sure, him and Peter's having a conversation, but I believe the invitation is open to anybody in that boat. Peter realizes if I don't take a step on the water, I'll never know if he is serious and if I can really walk on this water. The rest of the disciples stay in the comfort of the boat. But Peter overcomes his cowardice, his fear, and he steps on the water. Now, you know the story if you're a Bible student or ever heard the Bible taught on this subject at all. The waves begin to crash against him, the wind begins to blow, and everything's happening. And Peter takes his eyes off the one who called him, off his creator. Remember, I've told you, you've got to be God partnered. He takes his eyes off the one who created him. And the moment he does that, friend, the moment he does that, he begins to sink. But he knows what to do. He says, Lord, save me. And the one who partnered with him reaches down, grabs him. Now catch this. And they walk back to the boat together on the water. You see, he just needed a little confidence boost. And we've already talked about that. But here's the catch. Here's the catch. God has called us to do some miraculous things in this life. I believe that you have the potential to do amazing things, more than you can imagine. The Bible says, eye has not seen, ear has not heard, and it has not entered into the heart of man what God has prepared for those who love him. And I believe that statement. And so if you're a person of faith and you believe that statement, then I want you to be encouraged that you can do great things in your potential, but you have to swing. You have to take risk. You have to take chances. There is no reward when there is no risk. If you're not willing to swing and worry about the fear of failure, you'll never see success. Because if you don't, the worst fear is not failing. The worst fear is not trying. Failure is not the worst fear. It's not the worst thing that can happen. The worst thing that can happen to you is never trying. I would rather leave this world and say I tried and failed than to say I never tried at all. Wouldn't you? Now, let's keep going, can we? So as we move forward, the next one is the fear of being rejected. This is huge as well. So many people in their life are so consumed and so worried with not only the fear of failure, but the fear of being rejected, the fear of having someone tell them no. Now, I shared a statement with you yesterday about how many times we've been told no in our life compared to how many times we've been told yes. And it's like a 3-to-1 scenario. And so what I want to encourage you in is this. Nobody, let's be honest, let's be transparent with one another tonight. Nobody likes to be told no. From the time I was a child and my mother told me no, I didn't like it. I've actually been around babies recently and they're being told no. And the moment you tell them no, they just ball up and cry. You don't have to be forceful. You don't have to be harsh with it. You can just say, no, don't do that. No, no. And that child will begin to just well up and, oh, I don't like to be told no. And from the time we're babies, we don't like to be told no. Why? Because we want to have approval. We don't want to have rejection. We want to be doing good. We don't want to be doing bad. We don't want somebody to tell us we're not good enough. We don't want somebody to tell us we're not strong enough. We're not bright enough. We're not, skilled enough. We don't want to hear that. We want to hear, man, you got this job. Hey, you've got this degree. Listen, you made the A+ on the grade. You're the best wife ever. You're the best husband ever. We don't want to hear rejection. We don't want to go up to the guy or the girl when we were dating and say, hey, would you go out with me? You remember back in school, in elementary school, you used to write a note, do you love me? Check yes or check no. Oh, man, armpits sweating while that note is being passed between 20 friends to get to the person. And then you see it coming back and your heart begins to beat and you begin to wonder what's going to happen. Then you open it up. You're scared to open it because of the possibility of rejection. What if she says no? What if he says no? Well, what if he says yes? You'll never know. You'll never know unless you send the letter. You'll never know unless you step out in faith. You'll never know unless you take the test. You'll never know unless you try the push-up. You'll never know unless you try to be a good wife or a good husband or a good parent. You'll never know unless you try to be an entrepreneur. You'll never know unless you swing. I want to encourage you. The fear of rejection is real for every human being. The difference in those who are successful versus those who struggle with this fear is the fact that they understand no is just another word and I will hear it throughout my life. And I want to encourage you. I've been told no. I've been told no many times. But here's the catch. I can't let no stop me. I shared this yesterday and I want to share this again, or sometime this week I shared it. Don't let one no, don't let 1,000 no's stop you when you know, when you KNOW, when you know that you've been told yes. Now, again, can I go back to my faith for a minute? When I know I am in my purpose, when I know I am in my giftedness, when I know I am developing who I'm supposed to be and I have discovered who I'm supposed to be and I am walking in that, can I tell you something? You can tell me 1,000 no's, but I've got one yes that'll destroy every one of those no's. And I'm going to go with the yes that resounds loudly as my anthem to my purpose in my life. And if I have that yes, see, here's the problem. Here's the problem is that we feel like we need people's validation. I learned many years ago, folks, that I don't need people's validation. There's people who will support me. There's people who will not support me. There's people who will like me. There's people who will not like me. There's people who will even hate me. I call them my haters. Actually, I don't even call them haters. I call them my motivators because I turned my haters into motivators. Because when they told me I couldn't, I shouldn't, I wouldn't, and I will not, and I cannot, and I should not, and all these things, you know what I said? I can, I will, you'll see. I'm not going to say I told you so. But I want you to understand that you're pushing me forward. You're making me want to reach forward. You're making me want to run harder. You're making me want to bench press more. You're making me want to cook better. You're making me want to love stronger. You're making me want to preach harder. You're making me want to grow larger. You understand? You're making me want to do things I've never done before because you told me I couldn't. But I have somebody that told me I could. Are you with me? Are you understanding what I'm saying? I hope I'm encouraging somebody. If you're watching this, would you just real quick type in the comments for me just so I know I'm impacting somebody? Just type in, I can. I can. Because I want you to know you can. If you know what you're meant to do, nothing can stop you unless you allow these predators to stop you. And that's why I'm spending so much time on some of these, because these are the keys to success. These are the differential makers between those who are successful and highly significant in this world and those who aren't. And I'm giving them to you. I'm giving them to you. They're the keys. I don't know that they're secrets, but they're the keys. And so let's keep moving, can we? Because I want to keep sharing with you. So not only do you have the fear of failure and the fear of being rejected and told no, but thirdly, you have the fear of success. Now, this one I can imagine you're facing. You're like, wait a minute, what? What do you mean the fear of success? Let me explain it to you. When I talk about the fear of success, think about this. You probably know people like this. There are people who are afraid of what success will bring. They're afraid of several things. One thing, they're afraid of entering into the unknown. They have no idea what success feels like because they've always been a struggler, or they've always been somebody who's settled, or they've just been somebody who was sidelined on the side of the road and left stranded because of people and things that have happened in their life. They have no idea what it is to be successful. And anytime, I've learned this over 20 plus years, anytime you're taking any person or a group of people from here to there, it's not that they don't want to go there. It's that they're terrified of the unknown. And it's the same way with success. It's exciting to me, but entering into the unknown of success, what does it feel like? What does it look like? What's the expectations upon me, which is fear number 2 that goes along with the fear of success. Not only the fear of entering into the unknown, but the fear of what are the expectations that people's going to want on me. Because if I'm successful, then that means they expect more out of me. And can I give more? Can I equip people like they need to be equipped? Am I able to educate people in the level of success that I'm in? Can I do these things? I've never been here. It's the fear of the unknown, entering into it. It's the fear of expectations. What do people expect out of me if I'm successful? And if I'm struggling, people don't expect anything out of me. If I'm settling, I've settled at a place that's comfortable. I've stayed in the boat, and people don't expect anything out of me. But if I've got out of the boat, and if I've walked on the water, Now, now people expect more out of me. Now I'm the guy who's walked on water. Now I'm the guy who's following what I'm being led to do. Now I'm the guy who's walking in faith and not by sight. Now I'm the guy who's finding success and everybody wants to talk to you about it, wants to learn about it. Now they want to know how you got there. They think you're an overnight success. They don't know you spent time to get here. And so that's a lot of the fear of success. And I hope you're not afraid of success. I hope you're not afraid of rejection. I hope you're not afraid of Lord have mercy. I hope you're not afraid of failure, right? And so I want to encourage you, don't be afraid of these things. Don't be afraid of these things. You say, well, what should I do then? What should I do? Let me tell you what you should do. Here's what you should do. All right? You don't want to live your life asking yourself, I could, I would, and I should. No, what you want to do is you want to live your life saying, I did, and I did. I don't want to get to the end of my life. And this is what truly transformed my life, folks. I do not want to get to the end of my life and say, I wish I could have, I should have, I would have, but I didn't. You see, I've sat by the bedside of many dying people. And I can't even recall a time when I have heard somebody talk to me about how they feel like they lived out their life successfully, how they feel like they have finished their course, how they feel like they have done all they were meant to do and they're dying empty. Never have had that conversation. And I've sat by the bedside of some amazing people who have had some success in their life in different areas. But what I have heard them say, I've heard them say, you know, I wish I could have more time. I feel like there's so many things left undone. You know, I wish I would have done this. I always wanted to do that, and I never did. You know, I should have taken more time to invest in myself and to do things and things like that. I've heard some of those scenarios. And so what I want to encourage you is this. I want to encourage you, don't let this be your story at the end of your life. Instead, let's do this. You ready? Let's do this. Let's live your dream. Let's not give up, and let's have courage. Courage is the opposite of fear. Courage is the opposite of fear. And I want to encourage you today, in order for you to live your dream, in order for you to do that, you cannot give up. You cannot give up. You got to continually progress. And you have to do it with courage. Now, I'm going to close tonight with a familiar Bible story. This Bible story is after the prophet or the leader, Moses, has died, God's leader, and Joshua is coming in under him. And Joshua, you can imagine, he's getting ready to lead millions, if not billions, of Israelites that have complained and murmured for 40 years. They've been disgruntled. All they've done is complain and gripe and argue about everything from food to we're going to die, to the clothes, to this, to that, to that, to this. We can't go into that land that we've been called to, our destiny, because we're afraid. Are you hearing me? We're afraid. We're afraid of the giants. We're afraid of the unknown. We're afraid to enter the unknown. We're afraid of success. We've been in bondage. We've always been slaves. We don't even know what it is to be successful. You see where I'm going? And Joshua has courage, but there is a timidity about him. He's timid and he's a little afraid. And let me tell you what God tells Joshua, his partner, God, tells Joshua in Joshua 1:9. He says, "Have not I commanded you? Be strong and of good courage." Very courageous. Don't be afraid. Don't be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Did you hear that? Now, I know God was speaking directly to Joshua, but I believe when it comes to your destiny, when it comes to your purpose, when it comes to your potential, God wants you to understand, if you allow fear to come in, like the Israelites did, they died in the wilderness. A whole generation of people died because never reaching their purpose, never reaching their destiny, because they were afraid of their fear, Can I tell you, Do not let your fear get in the way of your faith. Do not let your fear get in the way of your feet. Do not let your fear get in the way of your fight for what you know is what you're supposed to be doing and right. And let me tell you this, keep driving forward to your destiny. Because God says to you who He's God partnered with, and He's calling you, and He's leading you. Let me tell you something. And if you're not partnered with God, get partnered with God and find out His purpose for your life, and you'll find huge success in your life. I promise you. I promise you. But here's the catch. Here's what you need to learn. You need to learn, He says, be strong and be courageous. Don't be afraid. Put your name right here. I'm going to go with you wherever you go. I'm going to go and I'm going to walk beside you. I'm going to fight with you. I'm going to get you to the place that I'm leading you as long as you keep feet to your faith. Keep fighting in your faith. So fight the good fight of faith. Go to your destiny. Don't let nothing stop you, and watch your level of success grow with every step you take. I hope this has been a blessing to you. I hope it's been beneficial, and I cannot wait to jump on with you again tomorrow night at 7:30 as we start the second half of 30 Days of How to Be Successful with Jody Almond. God bless and have a great evening.